mother was right. That doesn't mean she was not obsessed. And when I was a kid, she drove me crazy. Because every time I was out and trying to have fun with my friends and ride bicycles or whatever we were doing, and I was walking back to the house, the first question was, who was that guy? Who are your friends? Why are you related to that people? She was obsessed with every single person who was coming close to me. And that went from elementary school to the other day. She was completely obsessed with our friends. And I know why she was so obsessed with our friends. She knew something that probably you and I know, that our friends will determine the direction and the quality of our life. And she wanted to be sure that I will have a great life. And that's why she was so obsessed with my friends. When I was in middle school, like 300 years ago, I have this friend named Pedro. You can call him Peter. And I love Pedro. Pedro was a cool guy. And he had all these new gadgets, in the 80s. And he invited me to his home. And when I went to that house for a weekend, and I went to that house on a Friday, and he showed me his house. Whoa, that was great. And we were playing Pac-Man, I remember that. And then that evening, his mother called him and called me for dinner. And she screamed out loud, Pedro! And you know how he answered? He said, bark! I was scared to death. I thought she will kill him right away. But he got out with that. And then the next morning, and in the afternoon, Saturday, every single time his mother was calling him, he answered, bark! And on Friday night, I was scared, but by Sunday morning, it was cool. It was great. And I went back home on Sunday afternoon, and my mom called me in the evening. And she told me, Carlos, come. And I didn't hear her. And she said, Carlos. And I said, bark! I cannot tell you what happened. But I can tell you that day I learned that your friends will determine the direction and the quality of your life. Now it's different. Now I'm a father, and we have all this global surveillance system. The other day, we were with my family in Seattle, Washington, in a vacation, and my oldest daughter wrote on Facebook, I'm bored to death. And you know what happened? My mother-in-law in San Juan, Puerto Rico, called my sister-in-law in Sebring, Florida, and she called my wife in Seattle, Washington to ask her what was going on with my daughter. It's not insane. And you know how I know she did that? Because I do that too. I'm so concerned about who's friends of my daughters and what kind of people she's relating with. Because I know the same thing that my mom knew, that your friends will determine the direction and the quality of your life. 2 weeks ago, I had this meeting with the elders of our church. And they are putting together this activity for next February. I'm celebrating 30 years of ministry. Do you believe that? They look so young and so handsome. 30 years. It's just amazing. And they were asking me what kind, the people that I would love to see there. And I was telling them. And one of the elders asked me, Pastor, tell me something. Why you get involved with these people of Toastmasters? And I told them, well, I need to improve some things. But my mom told me that your friends will determine the direction and the quality of your life. And I have been there a couple of times. And I know I can learn a lot of things. But they are great people. And I want to be there. My mother was so right until the last point of her life. 6 years ago, she was diagnosed with 4 cancer tumors on her brain. And the night before she had her biopsy, I was with her there. And I have been trying to bring her to Christ all my life. And she started to cry. She was very nervous. And I told her that evening, Mom, don't you think it's time for you to come to Christ? He's such a great friend. And I know you're scared and I cannot give you the peace that he can give you. And she said, I believe it's time. And we prayed together and we sang together. And next morning she had the biopsy. She never spoke again. And 5 weeks later, she left. And today, 6 years later, I'm so happy because she met that friend that led her direction. And today she has a wonderful life because he made the right choice of friendship. She was right all the way. Obsessed. But she was right. Your friends will determine the direction and the quality of your life. Thank you.
Amen.